5 p.m. Can we get a roll call?
Mr. Belfiore? Here. Mr. Biondo? Here. Mr. DeGiulio?
Here.
Mr. Giacolone? Mr. Coletti? Here. Mr. Edisaitis?
Here.
Mr. Speck? Here.
Before we get established, will you all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission of Norridge School District 80 is inspiring educational excellence in a nurturing environment.
Thank you. We'll grab in the list for public participation. Just to remind everyone, there is according to our board policy, we have a 5-minute, is it 5? It's 5. A 5-minute limit. There's a 5-minute limit on our public presentation, and we ask people just to speak once, if possible. There's a great deal of people out here, and when you do come out to speak, please state your name and speak loudly so the whole crowd could hear you.
Summer George.
I actually signed up the wrong list, so have to speak.
Okay. Sean Seelig.
Good evening, I'm Sean Cholik. I have a daughter that's going to be slated to go into kindergarten, and I have a son in 4th grade right now. I just want to speak to the deficit reduction plan. My wife and I chose Norridge for a home because of the school districts. We like the area. The school seemed excellent. I just want to comment that I think it's a mistake to eliminate things like athletics, art, music, industrial arts, and languages. I think it's a mistake to create overcrowded classrooms with implementation of grade centers, and I feel that it's a mistake to eliminate full-day kindergarten. I want my daughter to have the same education that everybody before her had, including my son. So I think it's important to keep the all-day kindergarten, especially with Common Core. We want them to be prepared for that. Half a day is not going to cut it. I'm opposed to it, and I would be extremely disappointed if it's cut. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Tim Ludston.
Hi, I'm Tim Ludston. I'm going to go 2 parts here. First, I'm going to address the board and then the community. So to the board, even though I couldn't make the last meeting, I was very pleased to see that there was a 3-3 on the grade centers. As you guys saw, trying with the first referendum, it was not planned, it was out of the question, way out of the ballpark, and it failed. Moving forward to grade centers without a plan, using statements that you say, throwing good money after bad, we are still in the same 2 schools, whether you split the junior high and grammar school or not. You still have the same issues to deal with within those buildings. The responsible thing to do would be focus on this new reasonable referendum, which I applaud you for coming up with something that's affordable and not going crazy. That's your response, is to work with the community, something that's affordable. Number 1 target should be fixing what we have, keeping the programs, focusing on the curriculum, and not going for the sky's limit. That is shown through and through. It's shown in the surveys. Nextly, we're looking at funding again tonight. You guys are going to vote on whether or not to spend more money on a feasibility study to see if and what we have to do for grade centers. Spending more money while taking things away from the children. Plain and simple. The spending has to stop. You guys need to focus the efforts on the small referendum. There needs to be a bigger plan for the future, yes. It cannot happen this year. It cannot happen without a foolproof plan. The kids are the ones that are going to lose. Please keep that in mind. Not just your kids, next generation. This is going to decide it. You need to keep what you have, put it to your minds, get it set. Sure. Can grade centers work for the future? Yes, when it's properly planned, properly funded. Do not jump into this. Nextly, I'm going to keep it short. To the community, I know I don't make it to all the meetings. That's due to work. This is what I've been barking about on Facebook. This is what Citizens for District 80 and certain people were trying to push for, was community involvement. please let these board members know. Talk to them, voice up. If you see them on the street, it's okay to say, hey, I didn't understand what was said. Can you explain this to me? This group right here is what's needed. Thank you all for coming. Please make your voices heard. Make the best decisions for the community as a whole. That's all I got today, guys. Just put your hearts in it and go for the kids.
Thank you.
Ann Larson.
I like the comments of the two gentlemen that came before me. My name's Ann Larson. I have been living here since my 8th graders started first grade. Before that, I lived in Arlington Heights and Palatine, and had a number of friends with kids in those areas as well as Buffalo Grove. And when you're looking at and proposing cutting spending, and you've got this list, because I realize you have to start somewhere. You're trying to be fiscally responsible. I know that my kids and lots of other friends of mine, their kids, we didn't have full day kindergarten. So it's not something that would make it so that all of a sudden Norridge would just be this second-class suburb because they didn't have full day kindergarten. My kids and all my friends out in that area had, 2.5, 3 hour kindergarten. But when it comes to things that encourage students to love coming to school, things like whether it's music class, art class, if it's signing up to be a part of the band, if it's some sort of sports after school or gym during school, these are the things that make math and science and history and everything else bearable for some kids. And for some kids, they might float through all those subjects, but still, it's the whipped cream and the cherry on top of a school experience. It would be very sad to see all this stuff go away and leave what's been a really good school system to just plain old reading, writing, because that's what it would if we chop everything. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Lillian DeJulio.
I actually signed up the wrong sheet, but I just want to voice up again. I didn't realize I was signed up for this sheet, and I actually have the same comments as most people here. The school itself, I don't think it has extra, it doesn't excel in sports, in programs for sports, arts, and music, and I believe it's enough, not compared to other districts that I know of. So it would be really detrimental for the kids' future. It enhances other parts of the brain. It gives them skills that are not they don't get from math, history, and those subjects. And I think it would be very, very wrong for the kids and in future generations as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
George Ballas.
Actually, it was answered by Mr. Nelson, so I would pass.
Karen Gumber.
Hi, I'm Karen. I have a high schooler now, and I have a 5th grader. Cutting out special programs makes our students robots in the future. You're not giving them a creative outlet to try to tie all these things together and then bring our community progress. You're telling them this is all that there is to life. That's ridiculous. We need that creativity to make sure that things can prosper, that we can grow, learn new concepts, and just be creative. So without those creative outlets, you're now trapping our students into these robotic modes that are going to hinder the overall future of not only this community, but all communities that they may be exported out to. Sports, we need athletics, just because we have a new president who probably doesn't support it as much as the former did. That doesn't mean that they, aren't going to get what they need through these activities. Maybe how about some self-funding from the parents if we can't afford it? Punishing our children, punishing our teachers because you guys have admittedly, dropped the ball on our fiscal responsibilities is not the way to go. You got to figure something out.
Thank you.
Frank Trabuzio.
Tried to prepare so we can do something. Having been most of the last 8 months of the board meetings, there's a little more to this. The budget, the funding cannot sustain 2 K-8 schools. That's becoming apparent. It's pretty much clear. No one is enthusiastic about grade centers, but it's time to just, I think we have to face it. I know that this fall, it seems like it'd be rushing and there'd be a lot to prepare. For all we know, it may be feasible. Maybe the close proximity of Lee and Giles will make the transition smoother, along with the existing relationship and familiarity that 2 schools have with each other. Maybe this was overlooked by those who have been looking into this. I don't know whether that be STR or others, but they do have a close proximity to each other. A lot of people know each other anyway. It's been 24 years of not increasing the tax rate for elementary schools, and that's what brought us to this point. Tim helped point out to me the other day that our district 80, the elementary schools, the tax rate is nearly half of the Ridgewood and the library. That's crazy that it's gotten to this point, and now we're at a point of begging the residents to fund it correctly. 1.25 million is extremely modest. I know the 6.2 from the last referendum was huge, but 1.25 is a pittance compared to that, obviously. The thing is that the grade centers is going to open up a lot more money to not cut these programs, and I do not want to see music and art cut. I had those subjects 35 years ago. How can we go backwards and cut music and art and athletics and all those things? And all of us here agree we can't cut those programs. It's just not what we have to do. And if we have to bite the bullet and face the grade centers, then that might be the case.
Gus?
Hello, my name is Gus Rapatis. I have 2 kids in Lee School right now, and I just believe that we're grasping at straws. You know, we've come to a point where we all appreciate the sports, we all appreciate the extra activities that we have, but we've been put in a situation by the board. The responsibility, the money losses, that at this point, I think the only thing we can do is having to give up some of the sports in order to make things work. We can't go back and have 3 or 4 different referendum issues trying to confuse the community again. I think everyone's upset over the last referendum. If we put 3, 4, 5 different things on the ballot again, people are going to get upset. They're going to walk away. They're not even going to bother to vote. I think we're at the situation now where we have to cut these extras. You know, maybe try and keep the band, keep the art, things that aren't available in our park district. But I think to cut money, to make a 1 ballot referendum, a 1 question referendum with a minimal, you know, contribution to try and save things, I think we have to give that up. And it's not something that I would like to do. I don't think it's anything that anyone else wants to do. But the alternative is, if we ask for too much, we're not going to get anything. You look at the last vote. I mean, we got to ask for the minimum to keep our core. We have the park district for sports. It's not the same as having it in school, I understand that, but it is available. So I would hope that the board would come up with 1 question for the referendum, 1 ballot, a minimal, you know, amount to keep the things that we have as far as our core subjects. If we have to give up the sports, I think that's what we have to do. I don't like it, but I think that's what we have to do. The grade centers, we're rushing into things, and we're spending more money that we don't have. I don't think, you know, that we need to have a third party come in and tell us if this is, you know, a feasible solution or not. This has been done in the past. It's been done in other districts. Other people have done this. They've succeeded. They've failed. We could look at those other districts, those other schools, and see what happened, why the grade centers succeeded or why they didn't.